Hey, what is going on, guys? It's Johnny and welcome to another Genshin Impact video. In today's video, since Albedo and Eula are both getting a banner rerun, we're going to be discussing about the banners and if you should pull on them. For this particular video, we'll be going over Eula's banner specifically. I personally have Eula and from her initial release, have loved her ever since. We'll also be releasing a video regarding Albedo later on as well, and will be linked in the description box below when available. Before we do jump into it, guys, if you do like the video, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. This will greatly help our channel to grow and help with the YouTube algorithm and recommend the video to other viewers. Now, without any further ado, let's jump right into it. To get straight to the point, I think Eula is a very strong main DPS and has carried me through the Spiral Abyss every time. Her damage output is very high, and what's great about her is that she has multiple sources of damage that she can depend on. Now, what does this mean? What does this mean exactly? In simple terms, it means that whether she uses her normal attacks, elemental skill, or elemental burst, she'll be dealing a bunch of damage. Some are probably stronger than others, such as her elemental burst, but her other sources of damage should not be slept on. Now, despite having a Chiral Vision, Eula doesn't actually do an immense deal of Chiral damage. Rather, she's actually a physical damage dealer who wields a Claymore as her weapon. Don't let the Claymore and its heavy weight fool you, because Eula can elegantly swing this Claymore with ease and with style. As a Claymore user, she has one of the strongest normal attack multipliers. But not only that, at base speed, she has one of the fastest attack speed of any Claymore user, if not the fastest. This makes her normal attacks very viable and a very good source of damage. Not only can she deal a good amount of damage through a string of normal attacks, but at rapid succession as well. If you're looking for some damage to finish off opponents and your elemental skill and burst are on cooldown, then you can quickly turn to her normal attacks to get the job done. Her normal attacks in itself are very strong and can hold on its own. For physical damage dealers, you generally want to have a Chiral or Electro Vision. Reason being is that gives you access to one of the best elemental reactions for physical damage, which is Superconduct. Superconduct reduces the enemy's physical resistance by 40%. Now, the effect is only half the amount if the enemy doesn't have any physical resistance. But this is great versus enemies that do. In the Spiral Abyss, it is not uncommon to encounter a bunch of ruined enemies who is rather tanky versus physical damage. With Superconduct, this makes Eula shred through their defense and deal an immense amount of damage. Her own weakness, which is enemies with high physical resistance, is already partially mitigated because of Chiral Vision. This makes it so it's easier to build the party around a physical damage dealer while still having access to other characters that can buff you, like Bennett. Spoiler alert, he's in the banner. Since we're on the topic, let's talk about the banners. One of the biggest decisions when pulling on a particular banner is if the banner is worth it or if you are getting something in return outside of the 5-star you are chasing. The cool thing about the double banner rerun is that whether you pull on Albedo or Eula, the 4 stars on both banners are the same, which consists of Bennett, Noelle, and Rosaria. This makes it so players don't compare banners based on the 4-star characters, but instead based on the 5-star characters. To be completely honest, the banners this time around are very stacked, and I think both banners are very beginner friendly towards new players as well. For Eula's banner, you get the Spindrift Knight herself, who danced into everyone's heart with her elegant maneuvers. Bennett doesn't need any introductions because he's literally a full package. He provides an attack boost to your party while still sustaining them with heals, making him the perfect and go-to support for many parties. This guy is a must-have for any account because he just fulfills different roles so well. He gets even better through constellations and most likely the go-to 4-star character to chase on this banner. Noelle. Personally, I really like Noelle and think she's a very good healer and shielder. If I didn't have Zhongli, I would have definitely invested more resources into her. She's more meant to go along with Albedo, but similar to Bennett, she can still fit into many different team comps. She provides a lot of support to the team, but more so on the defensive side. Her kit makes her easier to build because she has scaling with defense and allows her to have different play styles. Rosaria is a great Chiral applier, and paired with Eula will give the Chiral resonance for the party. This increases your crit rate by 15% when enemies are affected by Chiral. Just be careful that if you want to utilize the Chiral resonance while superconducting the enemy, you need a character that can control the electro ability to maintain the uptime of Chiral onto the enemy. A perfect example of who can synergize well with the Chiral resonance is Fischl's Oz, because Oz will keep applying electro onto his target targets. However, as part of Rosaria's kit, she naturally increases your crit rate anyway through her passive talent, Shadow Samaritan. This passive talent makes it so when you use your elemental burst, all party members excluding Rosaria will gain crit rate equal to 15% of Rosaria's overall crit rate. Meaning that if Rosaria has a 100% crit rate, then she will provide 15% crit rate to the party. Just keep in mind that this bonus can't exceed 15%. If you get very lucky and was able to ascend Rosaria to C6, that just makes her that much better because her C6 will have the added effect towards her burst, making enemies' physical resistance drop by 20% for 10 seconds. Rosaria is a great character and even has good damage off field. I know many of you guys pulled on the Hu Tao banner, so if you're lacking a strong character to fit in your Hu Tao team comp, Rosaria is a very good option. We also have a very detailed Hu Tao overview too, in case you guys want to check it out. Now, we reviewed Eula's banner and determined the 4 stars are very good, but is the banner worth pulling on? To answer that, I would to touch base more on Eula and the issue that physical damage dealers have generally seen in the past. One of the concerns that physical damage dealers have was that it generally fell off because physical damage didn't really sync well with the character's own elemental skill or burst. Take Diluc for example. He has very strong multipliers, but we don't generally build physical damage on Diluc because his kit doesn't scale with it. As such, the go-to physical damage dealer until Eula appeared was Razor, because his elemental burst was meant to enhance his attack speed into an insane attacking machine. The issue with Razor, however, was that his elemental skill didn't really provide any scaling with physical damage or buff in any way, not unless you have him at C4, which decreases the opponent's defense by 15%. His elemental skill was mainly used to help him get particles and maintain the uptime of his burst. We mentioned earlier that Eula has multiple sources of damage that she can rely on. This is because her elemental skill and burst has physical damage scaling. Like Razor, her elemental skill has a press and hold activation. When you press her elemental skill, she will swing her mighty claymore forward to deal Kyro damage and gain a stack of Grimheart. Grimheart can stack up to 2 times and can be consumed through the hold activation, which will release an Ice World brand that deals extra Kyro damage. Now get this, in addition, she will also decrease the opponent's physical and Kyro resistance by 24% at talent level 9. This makes it so she herself already has resistance reduction towards enemies. Pair this with super conduct and those ruined enemies' resistances will mean nothing. Oh, did I also forget to mention that her passive talent, Roiling Rhyme, makes it so when you consume 2 stacks of Grimheart, a shattered Lightfall sword will explode and deal 50% of the basic physical damage dealt by her burst. Yeah, there's that too. With this passive talent, Eula's elemental skill now has the ability to deal insane amount of physical damage once you consume 2 stacks of Grimheart. Now, moving on to her burst, which is the strongest burst in the game, purely through multipliers, but it comes in a unique fashion because you have to get stacks. When you use a burst, you will gain a Lightfall sword that follows her and lasts for 7 seconds. Within the 7 seconds, you want to gain as many stacks as possible because it will increase your Lightfall sword's damage when it explodes after 7 seconds. Eula gets more stacks through connecting any of her attacks onto the enemy, but can only gain a stack once every 0.1 seconds. The Lightfall sword can stack up to 30 times, but ideally you can't reach 30 stacks without her constellations and her weapon, the Song of Broken Pines, which increases attack speed. Even without max stacks though, you can consistently do huge numbers to the point where the average enemy will instantly vanish. A stat that I absolutely love is attack speed, which is mainly forgotten because there aren't great methods of building it. Attack speed is going to be Eula's hidden stat because it will help you to get more stacks. Right now, she already does huge numbers through her burst without max stacks, and I'm optimistic that in the future, miHoYo will release more methods of gaining attack speed. This makes it so she has more room to grow as a main damage dealer and can become even more future-proof. Since her release, Eula has continued to become the physical damage queen and has changed the views of physical damage overall. Her normal attacks, elemental skill, and elemental burst all scale with physical damage, making her kit very well designed. She's extremely free to play because she has access to a very strong 4-star weapon, Snow Tomb Star Silver, which increases physical damage. For artifacts, she has great sets because you can run the full Pale Flame set or mix and match the Pale Flame with the Bloodstained Chivalry set. Both sets 2-piece gives a 25% physical damage increase, making grinding artifact domains more flexible. Speaking of flexible, her character Ascension stat is also crit damage, which helps her become easier to build and meet the crit rate to crit damage ratio. One of her passive talent also has a 10% chance to receive double the product when you crafts a character talent material. Though it's only 10%, this is still huge because doubling the product can potentially save you from using resin, and we all know how precious and important resin is throughout the game. So, should you pull on Eula's banner? If Eula is one of your favorite characters, then heck yes. If you're a player that looks towards creating content and lacking a main damage dealer, then heck yes. Now, if you already have main damage dealers like Hu Tao, I would just proceed with caution because keep in mind that if you own too many main damage dealers, then not all of them can be utilized in a party, at least not effectively. Look at your party and see what you need. It's generally better to have more characters that can support a party because they're easy to form a team around. This makes characters like Albedo easier to fit into parties. For main damage dealers, most party will usually only run one, so make sure you love Eula's playstyle through the character trial before spending your precious Primo Gems. But overall, I think players who end up pulling on Eula's banner will be very satisfied. If you guys do end up pulling on the banners, I wish you guys the best of luck and may the Archons favor your fortune. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to smash that like and subscribe button. Don't forget to also turn on that notification bell so you don't miss out on any newly released videos. I've been Johnny D, and until next time, I'll catch you guys in the next one.